I really felt like every time I go outside I need to put on a whole show just to pass as a woman. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Nofal Moali. I'm a 23 years young transgender woman from Tel Aviv, Israel, and I make mostly transgender related content here on my YouTube channel. So if that's something that resonates with you, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get right into today's video. How to overcome the obstacles of the beginning of your transition? That's a very interesting question, and as a trans woman myself, I know the struggle of feeling that you're not enough and that you have a long way to go until you can feel complete with yourself in the start of your transition. So overcoming those obstacles may be hard at times, but when you master the understanding of those obstacles, you can get through them much easier. So today we're going to talk about that. So I feel like the most obvious one is to pass. When you start your transition, of course, that right immediately and very naturally you think about passing. What if I'll pass? What if I will not pass? Will I ever pass? Will I never pass? So all those kind of questions comes into your mind, and it's very natural. But I feel like when we talk about passing, we also need to remember that there is a very big range. It can be cultural, it can be so much more. Like, let's for example say if you're so tall like me, I am 6 foot, and you go to a country where people are short, most likely you will have harder time to pass if other features about you are not feminine enough. If you're a trans girl, but if you go to a country where people is very tall, like the Netherlands or something, then you're going to pass pretty well. So we need to take all of that into perspective and remember that passing or non-passing can depend on many factors. But another obstacle that is really hard in the start of your transition, and for me personally it was a huge roadblock, was body hair dysphoria and facial hair dysphoria. Now the next obstacle that you can face in the start of your transition is social anxiety, and I had a ton of it in the start of my transition because I really felt like every time I go outside I need to put on a whole show just to pass as a woman. But that's of course a personal feeling, and from a first source here, believe me, everyone in the streets that you think that are looking at you, they're just concentrated in themselves, just in their own world. Trust me, people don't give a shit about no one unless you live in a very unsafe environment. Of course, that's the exception, when people can actually harm you for being not passable, and if they discover that you're trans, that's a whole other story. But if you live in a major city or something like that and you feel like that you need to put on a whole show just to be passable, just know that you don't need to take all this pressure on your shoulders. Rather than putting on this show and facade that it's not even real, you need to concentrate in your health, in your transition, and getting the results that you want from the bottom line, and don't feel like you need to pretend something just to make other people happy when they see you. So that's an advice that I would definitely give myself in the start of my transition. Lower your social anxiety, and just remember that everyone in their own head doesn't really care about if someone walking past by. So just remember that, and it will ease your transition so much. I know it's hard, but trust me. The next obstacle that can be such a huge roadblock is wardrobe. I remember in the start of my transition that like 90% of my time in the first half year of my transition, I was just consistently collecting clothes, throwing off some clothes, just finding my style and what's right for me, what makes me feel the most feminine and what not. So really, when you start your transition, you probably know that you will spend a lot of time on wardrobe, and that's totally okay and natural, but you need to remember that transitioning is something physical and it's your body in the end of the day, and it's not like the cover what you put on. So let's say today, in this point of my transition, if I put on men clothes and just walk in the street with like a baggy man t-shirt or something, I will not feel dysphoria at all, because I'm secured in my femininity. I know that I have done and I am still doing this certain stuff, like taking hormones, very soon SRS hopefully, and whatnot, to feel complete with my body, with my skin, my flesh. And not always is this piece of garment is what important to define who you are and your gender. Just remember that, okay? So don't get too carried on the wardrobe and really concentrate on yourself. That's the best advice that I can give you. Now, the next obstacle that you may face in your transition is a very interesting one, and that is that people surrounding you, like friends and family, is actually transitioning with you. Believe it or not only you are the one that's transitioning, maybe you are changing your gender, but they changed their mind about you and what they think and how they perceive you and who you are for them. So of course we all know as trans people that on the inside we're just the same before transition, because we're the same person, just that now our suit matches to our inside. So people don't always see that, and their perception of you really changes drastically, and you need to understand this. Maybe some people will take some time to get the right pronouns for you. It's very hard in the beginning and you need to understand them. I know in the start of my transition that if somebody even slightly would not call me in the right pronouns, I would get so upset and so mad, even if it was my family. And I'm talking here about like the first week or two of my transition, okay? I was so obsessed with that. But we really need to remember that not only we are the ones who transition, it's also our environment. And also that brings me to another tip, which is that if you lose some people in your transition from your life, let's say friends or family that doesn't accept your life path, like I did lose so many friends and of course my beloved father, really remember that it's okay and change is good in life. Sometimes when something ends, no, not sometimes, like always remember that when something ends, something new and better begins. So don't be afraid to lose some people out of your life. That's just very natural, and of course that not everyone is going to like you. Like there is no one person on this planet Earth that everybody likes, you know. Always people have what to say, and it's very common that in your environment someone will be the black sheep and they will not like you and your transition and your life path. And the fact that you have so much courage to go with your truth, to go with your heart, begin this transition and be aligned with your inside. Some people would not like it, and that's okay. If they don't like it and don't accept you, it means that they don't need to be part of your life, period. But the people who does get this and do still love you and want to accept you and embrace your new identity, they're the ones that you need to understand and come for, and just to understand that they're transitioning as well with you, their perception of you, their thoughts about you. So be gentle, be kind and loving, and I love you guys so much. Have a great week, great evening and great morning. See you next time. Bye.